After making a video about the Fortnite community's least favorite seasons of all time, today I wanted to spin that around and talk about our favorite seasons of Fortnite, and that's exactly, like I said, what we're going to be talking about today. I posted this over on X. We just talked about our least favorite seasons of Fortnite. Now let's talk about our favorites. Drop your favorite season or seasons of Fortnite in the replies, what you love about them, and I will include some in an upcoming video. Thank you, as always, for your time. We are going to be reacting to everybody's post today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. If you would like to join the conversation over here, we make community videos all of the time. Follow me over on X at Clen YouTube, where you can find the links at the top of the description with the link tree, or the direct link to X also within the description down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and if you're curious about my favorite seasons, I've made them very outspoken on the channel, but if you happen to be new around here, my favorite seasons, it's so tough. Oh, and I forgot that I posted it right here. Chapter 2, Season 7, and Chapter 1, Season X. There has never been a season that has matched my love for the game for these two seasons, and I've expanded why about 10 million times on the channel, so I'm not going to bore you with those details. Let's get into what everybody else had to say and why everybody loves their favorite Fortnite seasons. And it looks like Cyan agrees with me. Cyan saying Chapter 2, Season 7. No season has ever come close. No season will ever come close. No season has ever tried to be as creative, as daring, as filled with content as this one. The only thing I disagree with is daring, because things like Wrecked exist, right? And no season has ever had updates to the quality of this season. Some of the most fun and coolest looking weapons ever. They become the become your mother crew thingy. The UFOs were the most fun creative vehicles in the history of this game, especially because of the abduction mechanic. The huge abductor that pulled you into a minigame, it made Fortnite more fun than ever before. Having a massive mothership in the sky that is animated, moved around, releases smaller UFOs from itself, etc. Best feeling ever in Fortnite. One of the best and most perfect live events in the history of Fortnite, perfectly built. This season is an example of why past Fortnite is genuinely superior in every way than current Fortnite. He was cooking so hard, dude. And you gotta love Cyan just sneaking in the I hate Fortnite now. I see through you, Cyan. I see through you, but everything else that he said is completely true, to be honest with you. And I'm in complete agreement. The literal only bad thing, and is it even bad? Like, the map changes at the beginning of the season were lackluster, but I didn't care. The rest of the season was a banger, and we had a couple, like, changes to POIs here and there, but the map in general was great. It's just I would have liked to see other changes, but other than that, if you want to talk about the storyline, you want to talk about the battle pass, the unique mechanics, the weapons, whatever it may be, Chapter 2, Season 7 was perfect. The storyline was perfect too. It was, in my opinion, a perfect season of Fortnite. Chapter 2, Season 7 was absolutely phenomenal, and I am in complete agreement with Cyan over here, okay? Apollo had this to say, and before we get into it, guys, for my mutuals on here, there is a bug over on the X page where it'll say follow back people that you're following. If you're a mutual of mine, you're welcome to check. I don't just go around unfollowing people because I hate when people do that, like, yeah, I'm not going to be a fan because you're a fan of mine, okay? Anyways, Chapter 1, Season 9, my favorite season of all time. Love the map, weapons, event, everything. Neo Tilted was such a fun adaptation of Tilted Towers. Mega Mall was even better than Retail Row, and Pressure Plant was cool too. I love the summer event. Having new LTMs every few days was awesome. The vibes were amazing, and it was the best summer event ever. The John Wick LTM was very fun to play, and I loved the event. Overall, an amazing season. Chapter 1, Season X, my second favorite season of all time, and the best map we have ever gotten to this day. I loved the Rift Zones, the Greasy Grove, and the Moisty Palms POIs were fun. Tilted Town was amazing, and the rest of the POIs were fun. I love the loophole and the mechs after they were nerfed down a little bit. They were too OP at launch, and the end event was an amazing way to end Chapter 1. Chapter 3, Season 1, another amazing map. The snow and the vibes were amazing. I love the loophole, the story, the Spidey collab, the tents, weathers, Colombo, etc. It was an amazing season and the best chapter launch. I love all of those, and if you guys are interested, I did make a official Fortnite season tier list, and I dove deep into each season, okay? Chapter 3, Season 1 was just about there in SS. It was just about there. It's just like Season X and Chapter 2, Season 7 really stood out to me. But where Apollo did mention is Chapter 1, Season 9, which is interesting. I always wish that I enjoyed Chapter 1, Season 9 back in the day a little bit more when I did, because for a long time, and it was up until Vibin, I believe it was, Chapter 1, Season 9 was my least favorite season of all time. But that's because I struggled, and at the time in Chapter 1, Season 9, I personally wasn't good at the game. And I had fun with the game, don't get me wrong, like, and I talk about this all the time, I have fun in losing. But Chapter 1, Season 9, with all of the slipstreams, made for every single time that you got into a fight, you were getting third-partied by at least one team, sometimes 2, 3 teammates. And for somebody who isn't good at the game, at the time, every fight that I got into, even if I scraped by and actually won a fight, you had no health, the next team killed you. So for that reason, I didn't enjoy Chapter 1 Season 9, but now I'm actually good at the game, and I feel like I would really, really, really enjoy that season because everything else about it was great. The loot pool was fun, the updates were great, Fortnite storyline, everything about Chapter 1 Season 9 was awesome. I just struggled to enjoy it, and I wish that, and you know what? This is one of the reasons why I wish that OG Fortnite, and like right now, I'm talking about like the OG Epic Games bringing it back and going through all the seasons. I wish that they would capture that same feeling, not nerf anything, get rid of the bot problem, because I would really look forward to playing Chapter 1 Season 9. But yapped about that way too much. I agree with Apollo. It is objectively a very good season, okay? I've always talked about Season X though, man. Season X was phenomenal. And you know what's crazy is everybody at the time hated the Rift Zones too. Or not the Rift Zones. Everybody hated Tilted Town specifically because you couldn't build in it. So you had the problem with the people like being able to build outside the Rift Zone, shooting in the Rift Zone, but I still had fun with it. It's just funny, it's just funny that looking back on it, so many people love Zero Build and people were crying about it at the time, but the end event was perfect way to end Chapter 1. Chapter 3 Season 1 was, again, it was one of the better seasons of all time. Spider-Man carrying it out. The map was phenomenal. Love all 3 of those seasons, and I definitely agree with Paulo in saying that. Tater had this to say, Chapter 2 Remix. We all know why, just look at my profile picture. Also, I adored Chapter 2 and played it the same time with a new coat of paint. Chapter 4 Season 1. The launch of the chapter was so awesome that the trailer is a top 5 and the collabs are so peak, especially My Hero Academia. Such a special time for me. So, okay. Unfortunately, Chapter 2 Remix was one of my least favorite seasons of all time, but I understand, and obviously, the Juice WRLD event, for everybody who loves Juice WRLD, and I like Juice WRLD myself, I really like listening to his music, but the event didn't carry the season for me. I think the event was a beautiful tribute to him. It was cool seeing him in the sky, but the rest of the season kind of sucked in my opinion. But what I do agree with is Chapter 4 Season 1. The gameplay, the story, and the collabs. The My Hero Academia collab was phenomenal. Dude, I loved using the Deku Smash. That made for such chaotic fun. The exotics were on point, and the Falcon Scout carried that entire season for me, guys. Guys, I love Chapter 4 Season 1 so much. One of the greatest seasons in Fortnite history. Ragna had this to say, Chapter 4 Season 1. I personally love the season. Oh, and what am I talking about? I didn't even mention augments when we're talking about Chapter 4 Season 1. The addition of augments were one of my favorites. The POI's claim mechanic was good as well. Well-designed map, in my opinion. The Citadel, Brutal Bastion, and Anvil Square was my favorite. The Oathbound weapons were really fun as well. Very fun, yeah. The gameplay was solid. The graphics were great. And augments, specifically in Chapter 4 Season 1, really, really, really helped elevate that gameplay because they were so unique. They were balanced. I loved it. And I will never understand why so many people are totally okay with augments not being a thing. But we all like different things, right? Definitely in agreement for Chapter 4 Season 1. Eldarin Games had this to say, Invasion. The loot pool for Chapter 2 Season 7 had so much variety and experimentation. The Battle Pass had Sloan, Sunny, Chimera, Rickon, Fortnite's first and only SKA emote. The UFOs and Mothership made the flow of each game feel amazing. I will take a 2-week vacation if we return to Chapter 2 Season 7. Okay, this is another thing that I always talk about. The Mothership mechanic wasn't only fun because, don't get me wrong, it was really fun. It was really fun. But it helped the problem of the middle of the game being stale, and it helped the end games, where you didn't have this giant circle with 3 people left because so many people were playing in that Mothership, consistently respawning. They spawned in at the end of the game, and it was great. That was the only time where they fixed that, and they've never done anything like that again. I will never really understand that, man. Trickster had this to say. Chapter 2 Season 4. It's my favorite season because it had an amazing loot pool. The Marvel Mythics we got were so much more fun to use, and good map POIs, and a really good battle pass, and the live event we got was so much fun. It was one of the last times I had a lot of fun with Fortnite, to be honest. Now, what I will definitely agree with is that Chapter 2 Season 4 was phenomenal. I loved that season. The loot pool was perfect. The map changes were great. One of the most unique and well-done map changes of all time, too, with the Stark Industries thing coming down. But man, that's sad to see, Trickster. That's sad to see. It was one of the last times you had a lot of fun with Fortnite. But hey, we all like different things, right? And that is one of the greatest seasons of all time. It sucks that the other Marvel season didn't end up, living up to that hype, okay? Speaking of hype, let's take a look at the Avengers hype guy over here. This might be an unpopular opinion, but my favorite season of Fortnite in history is Chapter 2 Season 8. Aside from the map being pretty bad, the battle pass was great, the gameplay was great, and the storyline was great too. The build up to the Chapter 2 finale was absolutely amazing, and the fact that a storyline skin was the secret outfit was also very important to the story since it wasn't a collab. In my opinion, Chapter 2 Season 8 is my favorite Fortnite season, 9 out of 10. Guys, I love to see some Chapter 2 Season 8 love. That is one of the most underrated seasons in Fortnite history, and I've gone on record saying, like, the gameplay for it, which maybe at the beginning you didn't like it so much because the Venom Mythic was kind of, tearing people apart, which I personally had fun with, but the gameplay, the updates, the story, Fortnitemares, everything about it was so underrated and people don't talk about it. Like, the flow of the game and the loot pool and the sideways weapons, the sideways interactions that you had on the map, it was all a ton of fun. I really, really, really enjoyed that season. I loved the vibe of that season. It was closing out Chapter 2 and they did it in a great way. So, while Chapter 2 Season 8 isn't my favorite season, I absolutely agree that it was a really, really good season, okay? Flynn07 had this to say. It's not a singular season, but the Chapter 2 Season 7 to Chapter 3 Season 2 period was best for me. It had a very consistent and engaging story, unique and interesting gameplay concepts, cool ideas and theming, and good map changes post-launch for Chapter 2 Season 8. You know what's funny? I always agree, and I keep meaning to make a video on this. I keep forgetting. I'm definitely going to write that down, okay? What was Fortnite's actual prime? Chapter 2 Season 7 to Chapter 3 Season 2, that entire period, I am in complete agreement. And I've mentioned this because I heard it in a video a long time ago, and I don't remember whose video it was, and I said that on stream when I was playing with Jojo, Clark, and Dagwami, and then Clark was like, hey, asshole. Oh, he didn't say this, but he was like, hey, I'm the guy who said that. I'm like, oh my god, I've been quoting that for so long, and it's funny that it came from somebody close to me, and it's like, I don't remember. So I've been saying through all of these videos, like, hey, I don't remember who said this, but I totally agree with this, and it's been, again, someone who's, like, very close to me, which is, it's just funny how that worked out. So now I know, and every single time I talk about the Prime Fortnite, I don't have to mention that anymore. I can mention, I agree with Clark in saying that Chapter 2 Season 7 and Chapter 3 Season 2 was the best time in Fortnite. So, absolutely, I am in agreement with that, okay? Let's continue on. Very unpopular one, Chapter 5 Season 3. I genuinely loved this season with all the chaos that came along with it. Hopping in a car and absolutely decimating the lobby and with the unlimited ammo medallion was very fun. They also absolutely nailed it with the metallic update. I'll also add that they shouldn't have kept in all of the OP items and ranked for casual playing. The season was insanely fun. I'm in agreement with you there on ranked. I loved it at the beginning with the chaos. I'm somebody who enjoys the chaos. Totally get it, okay? I love just the cars like flying from everywhere on the map, everybody constantly crashing and shooting into each other. And if you were happen to like get your car blown up, you trying to like hide under a rock or something while all these cars are going crazy and hoping that nobody sees you, that's an adrenaline rush that I really, really missed seeing in Fortnite. I'm in agreement on that. I unfortunately didn't like it after the car nerf, because after the car nerf, while there were still some OP things in the game, the most fun part about the season was taken away from me, and then it did suffer with that same Chapter 5 base gameplay that I personally didn't find enjoyment in. So I was stuck literally only using the tri-beam laser rifle, and at how long ago, or how long into the season did it take for them to add the Magneto gauntlets, which you also didn't always find. So unfortunately, it fell off in my opinion, but I do understand why people love Chapter 5 Season 3, man. I loved it at the beginning, okay? Killer7 had this to say. I'd say Season X. Despite the hate the mechs caused, the season itself was a throwback to everything we experienced during Chapter 1. Expanded the lore, the battle pass skins, and ended up with a remarkable end event. Something that has never been done before in gaming history. Now, I don't know if there's a reply down. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that we were going to be taking a look at more replies over here, okay? 2. Invasion Season. The lore was impeccable. Everything was lore related. The missions, the weapons, quests, 2 amazing live events that were lore related. Sloan and Agent Jones are relevant till nowadays, and went on to shape even the chapters that followed. 3. Resistance Season. It expanded on our beloved The Seven group. We met the final members, and gave us some closure in the IO and Seven storyline that had been going on since the first half of Chapter 1. Our last memorable live event, everything was story related. We got to drive the battle bus. I loved all of these seasons, and another season that I think is incredibly underrated is Resistance. I had a lot of fun with just even the gameplay that season. I loved driving the battle bus. I love the tanks. I will say I did like the tanks better, but you have my 2 favorite seasons of Fortnite and a very underrated one as well. Again, I am in agreement. Guys, we do have many more opinions to take a look at when it comes to Fortnite seasons. Let me just stop you for a second, because with these videos, we have been advertising the supporter creator code. I ask that if you do not have a supporter creator code that you are currently using in the item shop, then you consider using my code Clen. I have been grinding as hard as I possibly can on YouTube in order to provide for my family. I want to make this a job, and I want to make more money because we're looking to have more kids. Life has been incredibly expensive, so You guys have been giving me some breathing room each month, and I cannot thank you enough for that. So I ask again that if you do not have a code that you are currently using in the item shop, you consider using my code Clen. Thank you very, very much for listening, guys. Let's continue on to what Rules had to say. Chapter 5's Wrecked. Every year, Fortnite needs that banger season during the summer break for people like me who have a lot of fun with friends, and Wrecked was easily really fun. It was chaotic, the storyline was getting interesting around then, and the collabs they had were awesome. The storyline, man. Sorry to interrupt, but I forgot to mention the storyline. The storyline was actually good then. The Wanderer was amazing. Could you imagine if we just didn't know? I've talked about that so many times, guys. Leaks are the biggest problem with Fortnite. Anyways, Lethal Company set was awesome. The Metallica collab through all of the metaverse modes were my favorite part of the season, and the Deadpool Wolverine skins at the end made it a memorable season for me and my friends. Now, it's unfortunate that there are so many people within the Fortnite community now that unfortunately have had a lot of their friends quit Fortnite. I'm still with somebody like Rules, where I still have amazing, amazing friends that love this game, and because of that, I find enjoyment in pretty well every single season because I always log on and just laugh with my boys no matter what we're doing, right? Fortnite is always best with friends, and I know it is easier said than done, but if you're somebody who's struggling to enjoy Fortnite, please go, do your best to find somebody to play with, whether that's in squad fills, Discord communities, whatever it may be. I hope Epic Games can come up with another way to, find friends instead of, what's that invite thing that they have? You have the tags and your username in the lobby, but got a little bit off topic, okay? We have another Wrecked lover. I am a big fan of Wrecked as well. I thought it was a great season. Big controversy that season, okay? Harvey H had this to say. I know you're supposed to choose one, but I love Chapter 2 so much. Seasons 2, 3, and 4 my main picks, though. Season 2, the content was so good that even when it got delayed so much, it was so fun. Season 3, nice short season, and the map revealing itself all the way this season, and 4 was fire. Dude, I'm surprised nobody mentioned Chapter 2 Season 2 or Chapter 2 Season 3, because there's also a lot of people who believe Prime Fortnite is Chapter 2 Season 2 to Chapter 2 Season 4. The Flood season was great. The updates were consistent. There was always something changing, and it was very, very unique. Chapter 2 Season 2, I'm in agreement with Harvey. I don't care how long it was. I had fun the entire time. And I know that some people like to say now, which there's truth to it, okay? There is truth to it. When the Fortnite community kind of hated something at the time, and then a year later, oh my god, I even loved how long Chapter 2 Season 2 was. With this one in particular, when it comes to this season, people were genuinely enjoying it. Was it because of lockdown? Was it because of the season? We don't really know. I think it was a little bit of a combination of both. People were playing with friends, as we were just talking about. So that's the one thing that the player base didn't go back on and just pretend to enjoy. I love Chapter 2 Season 2. Again, one of the greatest seasons in Fortnite history. R1 had this to say. Chapter 5 Season 1, yes, bullet drop was a problem and the content wasn't the best, but I like the COD theme and the season had the weapons and mythics were peak. Also, the TMNT collab and the Titan hand buildup was pretty cool. Interesting. I know a lot of people going back to Chapter 5 Season 1 and they really like the nostalgia aspect of it, and I get it. It had some really, really nice vibes to it. I personally did not like the bullet drop and the new gameplay mechanic that Chapter 5 ended up bringing, but hey, a lot of people really, really love Chapter 5 Season 1. Unfortunately, though, I'm not in agreement with this one. This is one of my least favorite seasons in Fortnite history. Hate to say it, hate to be that guy, but I am going to be that guy. Gaming Grayson had this to say. My favorite season of all time has to go to Chapter 4 Season 2 Mega. The Japanese locations were very well designed, especially Mega City. The items are great like the kinetic blade, Havoc pump shotgun, and etc. Also, the collabs are great. Honestly, a solid season. I loved that season as it was, and bringing in the Attack Titan mythics with the Star Wars mythics along with the Spider-Man web shooters made for, in my opinion, the greatest gameplay in Fortnite history. I also made a tier list video if you guys are interested in that. I also made a tier list video ranking seasons strictly on gameplay, and I'm almost sure Mega was at the top of the list. If it wasn't, it was Season X, okay? But I am so in agreement with this because I loved Mega as it was when it was first introduced with just Mega Mall with the Mega City, the brand new weapons. Loved it as it was, and the updates only carried it as time went on. The Havoc pump shotgun was a great loot pool, and just the base loot pool too. It was very smooth, very fun to use. So I am definitely in agreement with Gaming Grace in there. It was a phenomenal season, okay? Ram had this to say. I have a lot of seasons I like, but my favorite are some of these. Chapter 1 Season 4 is when I actually fell in love and got hooked on Fortnite. The story starting to form and the fun items. Chapter 4 Season 2 is Mega City, my personal favorite POI, and I loved that biome, and I'm sorry guys, there were probably more. Chapter 4 Season 2 introduced the Havoc Pump, which is in my opinion, the best shotgun. I agree. Chapter 5 Season 3 I enjoyed because the theme was something different, and I enjoyed I enjoyed the chaps and embraced the fun items and really enjoyed it. Chapter 1 Season 7 made the Chapter 1 map really good, in my opinion. Sorry about that there. I got a little bit messed up reading all of that. But an underrated one is Chapter 1, Season 7. I know a lot of people like to talk about how great this season was, but a lot of people hated this season at the time. Chapter 1, Season 4, I know so many people fell in love. And isn't it funny, too, that everybody is so nostalgic and loves the first season of Fortnite they played? For me, it's Chapter 1, Season 3, and there are people who even started in Chapter 5 that's like, man, Absolute Doom was my favorite season. It's when I fell in love with Fortnite. It's just funny how that works to me. But all of these banger seasons, in my opinion, but I do love most seasons in Fortnite, I will be honest with you, okay? Daniel the Fox Guy had this to say, flipped. Tons of awesome content that got removed the next season for some reason. Cool new items, skins, my favorite collab, Spider-Man, and a new chapter and map, the continuation of the End Live event, just peak. I love when seasons have so much stuff going on and shake stuff up. Yeah, you had everything that, like you just mentioned, like the cool new items, skins, collaborations, anything that you could add to Fortnite, like updates, map changes throughout the season. Chapter 3 Season 1 did it very well, along with balancing changes like while the season progressed. That, and I would say, like, you know what would be fun? If we made a non-opinion based, like, ranking every season objectively. Chapter 3 Season 1 was definitely going to be up there. Look out for that video. I'll consider making something like that. But I'm with Daniel the Fox Guy. That is my third favorite season of all time, okay? Shadower had this to say. Chapter 2 Season 4, Chapter 2 Season 3, Chapter 5, all of Chapter 5, Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 4 Season 4, Chapter 6 Season 3, and Chapter 6 Season 2. Yes, Lawless is on that list. This is a long yap comment and thread. Each of these seasons were great. Chapter 2 Season 3 was the perfect summer season, and the entire theme being summer was the icing on the cake despite no lore. Chapter 2 Season 4 was fun and also the first Marvel season. All of Chapter 5 was goated because it hit different in a good way. That's definitely a hot take, I will say. Chapter 3 Season 1 because Foundation, Spider-Man and his mythic and Spider-Man was a character I've wanted for a very long time. Chapter 4 Season 4 because heist theme and it was perfect. The current season is fun and Lawless was very chaotic in a fun way. That's all I got. Hey, that's a lot to break down, but I am definitely in agreement that I enjoyed all of those seasons. But I wouldn't include Lawless with my favorite seasons, I will say, okay? Nikki had this to say, or Nick Rees had this to say. I know everyone's going to be on my case, but Chapter 2 Season 6. I love the idea of crafting your own weapon and riding animals. Then the Escapist LTM was one of the best LTMs of all time in my opinion. The Battle Pass was really solid. The Spire was stunning. I just loved that season. And I always talk about, guys, the Spire is one of my favorite locations in Fortnite history. I loved how, like, it just went to the top. It just went to the top of the Fortnite map. You could shoot the bows off of it. And it was so small that it was really fun to fight at. I know a lot of people had issues with the wonkiness of the build mechanic, but I'm so with that. The only thing that I didn't like was the crafting. And I didn't like that it was almost necessary for crafting. So this is one of those seasons where I understand why everybody doesn't like it, but I am definitely a Primal enjoyer. I just found the Primal weapons. You had to look for it a little bit more. I loved the Primal AR, one of the most underrated ARs in Fortnite history. Big fan of the bows. Like I said, guys, I've talked about it before, but I really always loved Fortnite Wilds, man. And Wilds. I loved Wilds too. Did I say Wilds before? Primal. I am a Primal enjoyer, and I am a Wilds enjoyer, okay? But guys, we do have more opinions to take a look at when it talks about Fortnite season. Let me stop you just one more time. As you might know, I am your guy with too many YouTube channels, and we upload daily content on multiple channels. We are going to have our toes dipped in time into all of the niches in YouTube, and I am excited for it. But like I said, we have 6 channels that we upload very consistently on. You can check out the link tree at the top of the description, or you can check the direct links to that within the description down below. If you're looking for, and if you happen to enjoy my commentary, we have other niches on YouTube that, again, we're making videos on. So feel free to check it out. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Let's continue on to people's favorite Fortnite seasons. Pan had this to say. I want to say Fortnite Wilds just because the community hates it so much, but I love Chapter 4 Season 1 too much. It introduced the capture points and augments, and I believe they did the best out of the other seasons. The map was also beautiful with so many good places to land. I'm in agreement. I love Chapter 4 Season 1, but it's funny that now I just mentioned Wilds and we read one. I thought Fortnite Wilds was great. I don't get the hate for the jungle, guys. I don't get it. What's it matter that you have to go underground? Maybe, you know what? We're going to make a video on that. We're going to make a video on that, and I'm interested to hear people's opinions on it, okay? Anyways. It's just something that I never understood. But again, we've talked about Chapter 4 Season 1, one of my favorite seasons in Fortnite history. Mr. Booze had this to say. Chapter 2 Season 3, finally we got a Chapter 2 Season 3. Flooding the map made for some of the most unique gameplay we've seen. They finally made boats useful, and after the water receded, we got cars, which eventually became the go-to vehicle in later chapters. And we got to play like while the water was receding. I loved that. It was one of the most, like I said right here, one of the most unique features in Fortnite history, and somehow they made it good. I loved Chapter 2 Season 3, one of the most underrated and greatest seasons in Fortnite history. But if you want to talk more about Fortnite seasons, I also asked the Fortnite community what their least favorite seasons were. And you can check out that video on screen right now where we recap them all. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Take care, everybody.